They're the power players, leaders of the game, making moves in business, building up their fame. They ain't here to play, they're here to make a change, taking over the town, ain't nothing gonna be the same. They got the vision and the hustle on another level, working hard day and night, no time to settle. They ain't afraid to dream big, they go rebel, making a difference for the community they meddle. They're the bosses, the ones who call the shots, building empires, ain't nobody gonna stop. Investing in the people, giving back a lot. Power players rising, they can't be forgot.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Good Morning Gwinnett Show. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney, and this is Power Player Wednesday, y'all. You know, Wednesdays are the day I bring on heavy hitters, whether it be in business, politics, community leadership, technology. This is the day I bring on power players. It's a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. Right now, it is 77 degrees, going up to a high of 88. It's going to be hot today. It's going to feel like summer, but that's okay because that's what we're looking forward to. But anyway, I got a great guest today. She is running for a Superior Court judge here in Gwinnett County. We have this is our political cycle, y'all. And we got some heavy hitters running against each other, and I'm always kind of. Well, I'm gonna talk about that. I'll talk about that another time. But anyway, she is running for a Superior Court judge here in Gwinnett County, and everywhere I go, I see her because she's always in the community doing something. I showed up at somebody's house one time. It was hilarious. I showed up at somebody's house for an event, and there she was. So she's always everywhere I am. She's there. It's funny, and it's not planned. It's just that she's always out and about in the community. So I'm happy to bring Miss. And so I have to always take my time to say this because you guys know I talk fast. Miss B. Tossany Gutter Parker to the stage. And so I call her BT. She's like, my friends call me Tossany. I was like, yeah, but I like BT. So without further ado, Miss BT Parker.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Gwinnett. You know, it makes me want to say, good morning, Vietnam. Do you remember that?
Listen, that is why I say every morning, BT. The reason I say my opening that way is because I saw that movie with Robin Williams years ago, and he said, good morning, Vietnam. So when I come on my show every morning, that's how I open every morning. And that I got it from him doing that show, Good Morning, Vietnam. So that's exactly, you're right. That's where it comes from. Well, thank you so much for being my guest this morning. I'm happy to have you here. I wish, I want all the candidates to come. Like if you're out there and you're running for an office and you want to come on the show, come on the show. I had someone say to me last election cycle, they were afraid to come on the show. And I said, why? So they thought we were going to dog them out, but that's not what Good Morning Gwinnett is about. It's about uplifting our community and giving our community a voice and empowering our community and inspiring our community. So I interview people who not only live in Gwinnett County, but all over the world, because I want those who need to be inspired by people they don't know, who don't live in our communities. And for the people who do live in our community, they need to know who their leaders are. So that's why if you are listening to me and watching us right now, if you want to come on the show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com, click on the intake form and holler at me. BT Parker, you've been running for this position for quite a long time. So before we get to that, it's called your journey to judge, and it's been a journey. It has definitely been a journey, and you've been running for a long time. So why do you keep running?
I appreciate you for asking. I really appreciate that. There is just so much to give to Gwinnett County. And because of that, I know that I'm the person that has that to offer. Now, previously when I ran, when you run against an incumbent, you have less than a 7% chance of winning. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. You still need to do it. You still need to run, because if you want to see change, guess what? You can't sit around and wait for somebody to retire. You have to be the change you want to see. And so that's why I've done that. Yes, I've run before, but guess what? Abraham Lincoln had 8 failed elections. 8. And bankruptcies, failed businesses. So you know what? I'm not running for president of the United States yet. No, I'm just joking. I just thought I'd say that.
Wait a minute now. Right. I already know you got some competition for that seat, because I know somebody right now who's planning to run for president. Right this second, they're
Love
playing.
that. Love that. Well,
Not
that's
this
fantastic.
cycle, but they're coming, and I'm kind of sitting by watching. They're coming. So look, give the people a little bit of background about who you are. I know you have been practicing law for over 20 years, and so for people who don't know you, who I don't know who that is because she's everywhere, give them a little bit of a background about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. So, again, Tossini Gooder Parker. I have been in Gwinnett the last 28 years. And during that time period, I have been representing the state of Georgia as a criminal prosecutor. I've represented defendants. So, defending criminals or those who are offenders or those who are considered to be alleged criminal. So let's just call it that for now, because everybody has a chance to have their day in court and to be proven guilty or innocent. So there are violators or offenders that I've represented. I've also represented those in the civil arena. So plaintiffs and defendants. And there are really only two kinds of law. There's either criminal law, in which people have their liberties at stake, or there's civil law, in which we're essentially arguing about money. And so in this particular race, for instance, I am the only candidate who has practiced in all four areas that come before the court. So that is something that I have done over my 28-year career. Now, what's interesting about me also is that I have practiced law in about 100 of Georgia's 159 counties.
Wow.
That is rare. That rarely happens.
How did that happen?
A lot of people ask me that. How did that happen? So I was hired by a Gwinnett law firm to litigate multi-million-dollar cases throughout the entire state. So I was their staff litigation counsel. And so I literally traveled all over the entire state of Georgia, from Tennessee down to the Florida line, traveled all over the United States, doing depositions and the like. But yeah, so that's what I did. And that in and of itself had been a great experience for me. So what it allowed me to see is that we do a lot of things well in Gwinnett County, but there are a lot of things we don't do well in Gwinnett County. And so it was weird because it allowed me to see best practices in other counties. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you an example. We did not have a second chance accountability program until 2 years ago. And because I saw that Fulton County had that, now let me back up for a second, because we always like to talk like lawyers, and then it gets confusing, and then people are like, what is a second chance? What is a...
Because I was just about to say, for the people who don't know what that is, please explain.
Right? So accountability programs is just another word for treatment program. It allows the offender to be held accountable to not only themselves, but the community and or the victim. And so you have a treatment program so you can help them. And so what I learned is that we did not have a second chance program for nonviolent, non-sexual offenders here in Gwinnett County. And so at the time, I went to Danny Porter, who was the district attorney for, about 25 years.
27.
Was it 27? Okay, you see, you know better than I do. This is good. So for 27 years, I stand corrected. And I said to him, I don't understand why Fulton County has one, why DeKalb County has their version, Project Pinnacle. Why do we not have it? We are the second largest county in terms of population and land. So we're the first largest county in terms of, Fulton County is number one in terms of population, Gwinnett number two. In terms of land mass, it's Ware County and then Gwinnett County. But either way, we're the second largest county. Why do we not have that which smaller counties have and which our neighbor to the south, the bigger county, has? It doesn't make sense to me. We keep growing in population. We can't incarcerate everybody. That old way of doing things is just not going to continue to work. We're going to have more overcrowding, more prison deaths, for things that just don't warrant it. So why can we not treat people who are nonviolent, non-sexual? Why can't we treat them allow them to participate in the program, teach them job skills, teach them how to get out in the community, teach them how to do what they need to do so that they can become a contributing member of society. Why can't we do that? And Danny Porter said, you know what? You're right. We do need to do that because statistics show that if you do treat people, they are less likely to reoffend, or what's called, we call it recidivism, but let's just say less likely to reoffend so that we all understand what we're talking about here. People typically will reoffend, they go back into the community, and then they commit a crime, and then they're back in jail again. And so it's a vicious cycle that goes on and on and on until you treat the person and the problem. And so he agreed. He said, yes, we definitely need that. We were actually at a Rotary Club meeting as well. And we talked about, and he said, yeah, you know what? Tasani Guter Parker came to me about this. And he actually said, and I appreciated his honesty. He said, I really didn't believe in treatment programs before, but studies have shown that they work. And so to hear that, him say that in a room full of other fellow Rotarians, and he had been, goodness, I don't want to say Danny's older than I am, but he knows crime and criminal statistics far more than I do because that's what he did primarily for his career, as a criminal prosecutor on behalf of Gwinnett County. So for him to agree that we need that was great. And then what happened is he lost the election, but that program has been implemented under the current district attorney. And so Gwinnett County needed that program. And I'm happy to say that I championed for such because of my experience bringing best practices from other counties to Gwinnett. And I could give you other stories too. And you'll have to remember to kind of shut me down and say, look, okay.
Listen, okay. I talk to a lot of lawyers, so I know that you guys can keep going. That's why you're lawyers. It's hilarious. I said I should have been a lawyer. Like I should have been a lawyer. I probably would have been a doggone good one. And an engineer.
I bet you would have.
And an engineer. I probably would have been good at both of those. But I love this. So this is cool. So now there, the race is a little crowded, like most of them are here in Gwinnett County. And there are people who have been sitting on the bench. There are people who have been working in government for some time. And although you had experience across 100 counties and 4 areas of law, some people may say that, you know what, she has that experience, but when it comes to being in the government and sitting on the bench, maybe not so much. What do you say to that?
You say government?
Some people may say that you don't have the government experience or the bench experience, and you may not be the right candidate to sit on the bench as a Superior Court judge. My question to you is, what do you say to that?
Oh, sure. So I have represented governmental entities. So that I've done. I've represented celebrities. I've represented the poor. I've represented middle class, corporations, small businesses. I'm a small business owner myself. So for someone to say that I haven't represented governmental entities, they clearly just don't know my background and my history. But that's one of the reasons why I am the best candidate, because I have represented various parties, because I am the only candidate who has practiced in all 4 areas of the law. I'm the only candidate in this race who has been a prosecutor. And I know that that's not popular because people just don't like prosecutors. But how else will we have a safer community? There's no way we can have a safer community. And so for people who don't know how this works, you have our police entity, sheriff's office, they charge someone with a crime, and then that crime is then charged in the district attorney's office, and then you go to court, and then you have the criminal defense attorney, the state of Georgia versus the criminal defense attorney. And so they're in court, and then the judge makes the decision. And so my background shows that I can be fair to everybody because I've been a criminal prosecutor, I've been a criminal defense attorney, and I'm the only one in this race with that particular experience. Now, what's also interesting about me is that, just like I told you of the example with regard to the Second Chance program and how that helps us with the safer Gwinnett County, that's one of the reasons why I'm also running for a safer Gwinnett. Right. So
I wanted to talk about your 20 points because I saw the 20 points safer and I was like, what does that mean? So jump right into that.
So one of the things, well, let me back up for a second. A lot of times people think judges can't do anything to decrease crime.
Mm.
And that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
That is not true. Judges have, at least they should, if they're actively involved in the community, they should have their ear to the heartbeat of the citizens of Gwinnett County, and they should have their feet on the ground, as I do. And so that's why I was able to help with the Second Chance program. So now let me tell you how that helps make a safer Gwinnett. One, it helps decrease the court backlog because now we don't have as many people in the system because there are people who have been vetted for these particular accountability or treatment programs. So now they're participating in those programs. It also helps decrease crime because now we don't have the recidivism. We don't have people reoffending and going back into the community. So it helps in that way as well. When you have other treatment programs, for instance, with regard to mental health, it also helps to prevent crimes before they occur. So that's something else that we potentially need to expand on in Gwinnett County. Mental health program, that's an accountability program, that's a treatment program. An interesting statistic is that for those who have severe mental illnesses, they are unfortunately 10 times more likely to be incarcerated than hospitalized. And that's a problem because these people need treatment. And when they don't get treatment, then they reoffend, and there's that cycle over and over and over again. So those are some of the ways in which judges can help decrease crime because of, second chance program, health programs, helping, the community to be aware, for instance, that for every 10 nonprofits we have in a community, there's a 14% decrease in crime.
Now, that being said, because one of the issues I believe we have here in Gwinnett County, we know we need these services, but there is a lack of facilities to facilitate these services and providers to also provide the services, the attention that these people need. So we know those services would be good. We know they're needed, but what happens is that we don't have the facility to actually run those programs. So how can you be instrumental in that part? Because I know that everybody I've talked to, and I talk to a bunch of people all the time, they always say the same thing, especially as it pertains to mental health. We need to have this program. We do, but where are we going to house the program is the problem or the question.
So, okay, so your question, there's a lot involved in your question. Yep. So one, there are a lot of programs in Gwinnett County that people don't know about. There are a lot of programs that overlap. And that's one of the things that I want to do as your next Superior Court judge. I would like us to create a directory of resources, if you will. I was talking with Councilman Austin Thompson, for instance. And he's with Lawrenceville, and he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't we combine these resources and at least let the public know what's out there for those facilities that are already up and running? Why not utilize what we currently have and at least create a directory so that those facilities will be available?
Now, I got to tell you, there is a resource directory. I actually spearheaded that. I started that project off of the DA's office, and it's actually done. So there is a directory, and her office is the one who has that directory. I think for me, and I hear this, what you just said, I hear all the time. People don't know how to get access to the resources. People don't know how to get access to the resources. And I've actually come up with a plan that I started to implement, almost 2 years ago. And I reached out to one of government agents, say, hey, agency, can you back this up? They said, yeah. And then they kind of fell apart because they didn't back it. But the resource guide is available. I spearheaded that for the DA's office. And they finished it off. I started it off and the DA office finished it off. As a matter of fact, at the event, at the GWC Gala, the DA actually had the resource guide. So I think what we need to do is figure out how to get that resource guide in as many hands as possible, That's what I feel like we need to do.
Well, not only that though, but there's a way to get our messaging out. See, if certain people have resource guides, and I'm willing to bet, and I'm not a betting woman, but I'm willing to bet it probably doesn't have all of the resources in Gwinnett County. It probably has a portion of them, because there are so many different resources out there. Quite frankly, with me out here campaigning, I'm learning of more resources weekly, honestly. And so it probably does not have that. And I'm guessing you were probably at the DA's office, what, a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And think about other organizations that have, developed since then. So what can we do to do a collaboration? What can we do to get that information out into the public's hands? I mean, everybody needs to know about this. It does not help if, thousands of people know about these resources when we literally have almost 1 million people, or well, now it's over 1 million people here in Gwinnett County.
Yep.
So it's all about marketing. It's about planning. It's about collaboration, because that's the problem. You've got this organization who has this resource guide. You've got this organization who has this resource guide. Let's blend. Let's merge. Let's do all that together. And so let me just tell you also, interestingly, because of my 20-point Safer Gwinnett plan, that is one of the reasons that Governor Roy Barnes has endorsed me for this particular seat, because he knows that I have a vested interest in Gwinnett County. For the last 28 years, I have been a champion for community safety. This is not something that just developed overnight. And so that's one of the reasons that he has endorsed me in this election. Also, I'm the only candidate in this race who has the support of Gwinnett mayors. So there are various mayors in Gwinnett County who have endorsed me. Neither of my opponents have any mayoral endorsements at all. And so I think that says a lot. Additionally, Congressman David Scott has endorsed me. He is one of our U.S. congressmen here in Gwinnett County. And he realizes the benefit of not only my experience, but my Safer Gwinnett plan. And of course, this is a nonpartisan election. So you have to have a candidate with cross appeal who appeals to both Democrats and Republicans. I am also glad to say that I'm a Governor Brian Kemp current board appointee. And what's interesting with that, Audrey, I just have to kind of make you laugh really quick. Well, maybe this should be a side conversation, but I'll just say it anyhow because it's just funny. As a result of that appointment years ago, my name has been the Honorable B. Tosney Gooter Parker for years.
Wow.
But I am not a person who is about title. That's not what I do. Because I think a lot of times, and I'll tell you this other sidebar. Now, see, you shouldn't have had me on this show because I have all these different stories that kind of interweave. But let me tell you one of the things that happens to me. When people ask me what I do outside of Gwinnett County and outside of campaign season, I don't tell them I'm an attorney because I find that they treat you differently. I find that they treat you as if you're special. And so I can't determine if you're treating me a certain way because of you like me for me, or is it because I'm an attorney or because you think I'm a person of influence?
Right.
And so you will never see on any letterhead or anything the Honorable B. Tosney Gooter Parker, although that's been my title for years, which is the same title that judges have when Your Honor, the Honorable. But I've never gone by that title. But if you go to this, Governor Kemp's website, you'll see his appointment, the Honorable B. Tosney Gooter Parker. But for me, it's about what are you doing? Are you a servant leader in the community? It's not about title. At least it shouldn't be for those who are true servant leaders.
Yeah, I see that you had Dewey McClain also endorsed you. So what does that mean when you get like these? Because I see you have a lot of heavy hitters that are endorsing you. What does the endorsement actually mean to a campaign candidate when they get these endorsements?
So what? And yes, and I am thankful for Dewey McClain. Dewey is Representative McClain. He is the chairman of the Gwinnett delegation. So he is definitely a power player. He's a man of integrity, someone that I highly, highly respect. But he is chairman of the Gwinnett delegation for our legislators here in Gwinnett County. So he has endorsed me. Sheikh Rahman, Representative Shelley Shelley Hutchinson, Clint Dixon, Derek McCullum, Ray Martinez. The list is long. The list is long. And so I'm just not going to even mention everybody. But what that means is that the community believes in you and the community knows that you're the right person for the job. There is no secret that I have far more endorsers than both of my opponents combined. There's no secret. You can go to our websites and you can see that. But keep in mind, I have been doing the work out here in the community. And so I have name recognition because of that. I've had a lot of people, and I'm going to be honest with you, who have told me, I could not support you before when you ran because you were running against an incumbent. I could not. But I will support you now because it's an open seat and you are out here doing the work in the community. I've actually been watching you for years, people have told me. And I'm like, okay, I did not realize that you were watching me like that.
BT, you're everywhere. You know, people are watching. BT is, I went to a dinner 2 weeks ago. I'm sitting up there with my husband, right? It was a dinner party. And walks BT, she's everywhere. So people can't help but to watch you when you're everywhere. It's just what it is, you know. So people know that you're out there. They know that you're doing the work you've done. You got the 20-point system that you feel is going to make Gwinnett safer. Why is it 20 points? What's the 20 points about?
So I chose 20 points. There are so many more that we could be doing in Gwinnett County, so many more. But I chose 20 points because it's an even number. And these are the 20 that are near and dear to my heart. These are things that we can do together as a community. And so there's a lot more. Now, you know, sometimes people will say to me, wow, it's impressive that you have a 20-point Safer Gwinnett plan. And what I tell them is this: all of those things are not because it's something that I've thought of. Some of these things are things that I have taken from other counties. They're best practices. So it's not like I'm the smartest person in the world. I believe in collaboration. I believe in collaborative efforts. I'll give you an example. We now have electronic filing. People can't believe that we just got electronic filing in 2018, 6 years ago. That's how far behind Gwinnett County has been. And, you know, we do a lot of, like I said, we do a lot of things really well. But why is it that we have electronic filing we just recently got it, and outlying counties had electronic filing before we did?
Well, that's because of our past administration, correct? Is that not the case?
Well, see, and that's exactly it. And so that's why you want a judge who has new and innovative ideas to deal with old problems. If you have always only practiced in Gwinnett County or spent most of your career here, then how can you help Gwinnett County to evolve? How does that happen? You can't. And a lot of my ideas are, quite frankly, ideas from other places that I've helped to bring to Gwinnett County. It's not because it's all up here. It's because it's all out there that I've helped to bring to Gwinnett County. And so that's why you want someone who has these different experiences so that they can help bring best practices to Gwinnett.
So I know we have to wrap up. I want you to tell the people one more time why they should vote for you.
Well, Tossany Gooter Parker, be sure to mark her. That I've been telling everybody that because, look, I need you to remember that. But look, if you don't even remember that, when you get to my race, I'm the first one on the ballot. So Gooter Parker, Gutter-Parker, be sure to mark her. Why vote for me? One, because I have the best experience. I am the only candidate who has practiced in all 4 areas that come before the court. The only candidate. I am the candidate who is about a safer Gwinnett. Again, I'm also the only candidate who has prosecuted on behalf of the state of Georgia. And that's so that there can be a safer Gwinnett for your family and my family. I have 2 daughters that went to school here in Gwinnett County. And I've lived here for almost 28 years. So 1, because I have the best experience. 2, because I have a 20-point Safer Gwinnett plan. That plan is not about me. That plan is about the citizens of Gwinnett County. That plan is about the citizens of Gwinnett County. Let me say that for a third time. That plan is about the citizens of Gwinnett County. How can we evolve to become a better version of ourselves? And so that's so very, very, very important. Additionally, why vote for me? Because of the overwhelming community support that I've had with regard to endorsements from both Democrats and Republicans alike. That is another reason to vote for me, because it shows that the community who has looked at my record, looked at my experience, they know that I am the best candidate and they have faith in me. They know that I will help to take Gwinnett to the next level. So that's important as well. So I do ask for the honor of your vote. Please vote. We started early voting April 29th. The last day to vote is May 21st. Gooter Parker, be sure to mark her. Thank you.
So listen, guys, you've heard two candidates. There's three of you guys. There's one more. Hopefully she'll come up, but you've heard the first candidate that came on a couple of weeks ago. You've heard from Ms. Gooter Parker, BT Parker, as I like to call her. And, you know, if you are watching and you want to come on, you want to talk about your platform, the floor is open. It's yours. The election is coming up soon. You want to make sure you make the right choice. The way to do that is to hear from all candidates. So BT, thank you so much. If you want to learn more about BT, go to her website, gooterparkerforjudge.com. You can find out more about her there. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, go to gooterparkerforjudge.com. That's GUTTERPARKER forjudge.com. Because I know this is all video. Somebody's listening in audio and they're like, I can't. Okay, so that's it. BT, thank you so much for, loving our community as much as I do. Thank you for being on the streets. I'm sure I'll see you pop up somewhere else. I am. I'm sure you'll pop up somewhere at the same place. It's crazy, y'all. When I tell y'all I'm sitting in someone's living room and she popped, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like it's always like this. So she's always out and about. But thank you so much. I know you have to run. But I really appreciate you being on this morning to share your platform, to share your passion for Gwinnett County. And hey, good luck. You got a crowded race.
Oh, yes. I'm excited. And thank you so much for having me. Good morning, Gwinnett.
That's right. All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I hope you learned a lot from my upcoming candidate for Superior Court judge here in Gwinnett County. We have 3 running in this race. So hopefully, the next one will come up and want to be a guest as well. Listen, if you miss any episode of this show, be sure to go to goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past episodes. There also be sure to watch the show again and share it with your friends on YouTube at Good Morning Gwinnett on YouTube, at Good Morning Gwinnett on Instagram. I'm at Good Morning Gwinnett everywhere. So if you miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the show, whether you listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever your listening pleasure is, subscribe to the show and share it with a friend. I'll be back again tomorrow. I don't have a guest tomorrow. Tomorrow is Talk Tech Thursday. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be talking tech. I won't be live on video. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a live video tomorrow talking tech. I'm always fun. Oh, you know what? Maybe I will. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll be back again tomorrow, 10 a.m. God willing. You guys stay safe out there. Have a beautiful day. And until next time, my friends, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been watching or listening to the Good Morning Gwinnett Show, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the show today and share it with your friends by going to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com.